Good morning and welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk. We are glad you are here this Friday morning. Last Friday of April. It's almost May. And I want to say a little happy anniversary to you, Mr. Adam Talley, and your wife.
Yeah, thank you.
How many years married?
3 years.
3 years. And
happy anniversary to you,
Yeah.
Katrina Madewell.
We're coming up too, May 2nd. Want to guess how many years?
46.
It's not 3, 46. Pat.
46.
Yeah. No, it's not 46.
20.
20? You're close. 21.
Nice.
We didn't do anything last year for 20, so I figured we'd do a couple days in Cancun.
Awesome.
For 21. We might as well, right? So welcome. We are glad you're back this week. And today, for our 8 o'clock hour, had something a little bit different planned for us. And I know you guys can chime in and you get a ton of questions as well. And we got a few of yours on here and a few more, but we're going to open it up for live questions.
As long as
this morning.
I've turned my internet off. I'm trying to avoid anything and everything to do with the Avengers Endgame. So I don't want any callers calling in and spoiling that movie for me.
So you haven't seen it?
I'm not seeing it until tomorrow night. So
Okay.
I will not go on any internet sites today.
Would you like me to give you a little hint?
No.
He's going to freak out and hear
Just
back.
take Kleenex with you.
No, I'm not. No spoilers. No spoilers. All I know is it's over a 3-hour long movie.
It's funny. Pat's probably already seen it.
Probably twice.
Now, I really don't follow any of that stuff at all, but I've just heard rumors that they were giving away goodie bags and there were Kleenex in it.
Okay, we will not talk about the Avengers, okay?
And I'm watching you on Facebook, and I see that Leo is in his uniform, his green shirt uniform.
Have you ever seen me not in a green
No,
shirt?
I haven't. You're always in that uniform.
It'll be delayed on Facebook. Watch. It'll pop up in a minute.
Yeah, we're all actually in a uniform. Katrina's wearing her purple Tampa
We
Home
are.
Talk. Adam's wearing his gray Adam Talley Insurance, and I'm wearing my green Beryl Engineering.
It's a good thing you're in the middle because you got the gray, so you kind of neutralize the purple and the green.
Yeah, it looks like a whole bunch of Easter eggs on
I
there.
was going to say, we look like Mardi Gras flags or something.
Very close. Yes, we are. So we're going to open it up this morning for any of your real estate questions. I can answer a ton of mortgage stuff. If you've never listened to Tampa Home Talk before, you will realize quickly during the show, Leo Cannyn is a wealth of information, not just from an inspection standpoint, but he's a licensed engineer. So we originally met because he closed out an open permit for a customer because that never happens.
Yeah, but unfortunately, if you ask me a question I don't know the answer to, I usually say I'll have to look that up, but I'm not going to be able to do that till Sunday.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay. We could table it if you didn't know the answer.
If I don't know the
we'll get
answer and you ask me, instead of looking it up during the break, I will look it up on Sunday.
All right, so our studio call-in numbers are 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010. We're here with Mr. Adam Talley as well. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to insurance stuff. So if you have any questions you want to ask us, we'll be happy to do it. And I know as we're talking, you might have a few things that kind of pop in your head. If you don't want to be on the air, you don't have to be. You can talk to Pat, and he will field your question on the air. So if you don't want to talk to us, we understand. We won't take it personally.
Pat will be the stand-in voice.
Pat will be the stand-in voice. So studio call-in lines 888-404-1010. And we're streaming live on Facebook as well. So we will take your questions here and we will answer them on the air. 888-404-1010. One of the ones I get all the time, and I figure we would just go ahead and kick the show off with that, was how long have you been a real estate agent? And so it's kind of a loaded question, right? Because I've been an agent for 15 years, but I've been in the space for 28. So I started on the mortgage side of the business when I was 18 years old, did both for a period of time. I even took the title exam. I don't know if I've told you guys that. Have I ever mentioned that? Okay. So I took the title exam, or took the title course, I should say. Didn't take the state exam. Had no intention on getting my title license. Just really took it for the knowledge. So there's not a whole lot of stuff that I can't answer in and around the real estate space, as I'm sure is true for you, Leo, with inspections.
Well, are Adam and I supposed to answer the same question? I mean,
Yes,
for me,
you are.
I have 0 years experience being a real estate agent. And Adam,
That's
how
right.
about you?
I have never been a real estate agent either.
Okay, so point
how
to
long have you been in
Katrina.
your field? So you started off not as an inspector, but as an engineer, right?
Yeah, 2001.
Okay. So what'd you do before that?
I was in college.
Oh, geez.
I said 2001.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Okay.
Hi, boys and girls. We have 2 calls, so
Ooh.
if you would like to talk,
right.
we have Z on the line first.
All right. Welcome to Tampa Home Talk Z. How can we help you? What question can we answer for you?
Yes, I was just wondering if it would be beneficial to take down a load-bearing wall in a 600 close to 1,700 square foot two-story homes to make it, I guess, more up to date with, I guess, with the way homes are being sold now.
All right, Z, I'm going to repeat your question just to make sure we have it right, and also so that our Facebook listeners can listen into what the question was. And you've got about a 1,600 square foot home, and you're asking about taking out a load-bearing wall to open up the space. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, and I'm going to ping that right over to Mr. Leo Cannyn.
Well, I think that's back to you. I mean, we can help you remove the load-bearing wall, and it would definitely open up the space, but I think the resellability aspect of that, or what it does for your home value, that would be back at you, Katrina.
So I'll answer that. Before I do, you can take out a load-bearing wall, but I wouldn't recommend you do that unless you're a GC, right? Or you have some oversight.
Let's just assume she has a set of plans by a licensed engineer and she has a general contractor to do the work. But the question is, what does that do for resale?
So was that your question, Z, or what was the question different?
Yes, that's it. Exactly.
Okay. So to answer your question, tell me a little bit about your house. What year was it built? Roughly.
It's about 16, 17 years ago.
Okay. And so give me an idea of your floor plan. So when I walk in your front door, what do I see?
There's maybe 4 feet on the right before you get to the stairs that lead upstairs. That's where all of the bedrooms are upstairs. And it's basically just opens up into a great room. You know, Florida's known for their great rooms. And just on the other side of the staircase is the kitchen. It's a very, I call it tiny galley kitchen connected to a dinette area.
Perfect. So I have a really good idea what your home looks like. Let me ask you this. What's your main reason for wanting to modify the space?
One, I just feel like it's so closed off. It's already a small home anyway. I just feel like it's closed off from the small great room area that's there.
Okay.
As well as the home. Our home actually sits on a golf course, so I thought it might help the resale value.
Yeah. So any money that you spend with regard to your kitchen, especially in your bathrooms, you're going to get way more than dollar for dollar return on your investment. You just will. And if you take something like a galley kitchen and you open it up to your great room, to your dining room if you can, and you make that space flow better. So if you can think about it like this, if you were to have 50 or 100 people in your home, what's the flow like? Like if people are trying to talk to each other, are they having to go around walls? Does it kind of flow really easily where people can talk and kind of hang out?
They have to go around the wall. And everybody right now always congregates in the kitchen, which is the heart of the house. So.
The kitchen is absolutely the hub of the home. And it's so funny that you mentioned this because we are actually in the middle of a kitchen renovation ourselves. Like it is like literally I have cabinets installed, no countertops. But one of the modifications that we made in our kitchen literally is the hub of the home. I mean, it is the center with an island that faces the family room and it faces the lanai and the outside access. The flow is just really good about that home. And so that's what appealed to me. And that's what I know would appeal to another buyer. So with that being said, one of the modifications we did was we actually made the island bigger so that it's usable space as a breakfast bar. And it's people always stand and hang out of the island when they come over. So it's really important.
Absolutely. That's exactly
Yeah, so my suggestion would be pay attention to, where are people hanging out when they come over? And you say the kitchen. So it's important to pay attention to, what's the flow of that.
Yeah, it sounds like to be a great candidate to blow out that wall, make the kitchen bigger, add some kind of island so you get separation between it and the rest of the space.
I guess I need to find the appropriate engineer to take care of it.
And we have your guy here, which is Mr. Leo Cannyn. And as a matter of fact, I have kind of an idea in my head, and we'll talk about that in a minute when we come back after the break. But I know somebody else that did this, and what they did. Do you have a kitchen window that kind of faces outside?
Yes, the kitchen
Yeah.
window.
That'd be nice.
I can see her
neighbors
floor
and-
plan in my house or in my head of her home. And so what we did was basically they used that window to open up the space to the outside area. And we'll talk about what that looks like. And I'll see if I can even send you some before and after pictures that will help you get a great idea of a visual, and having somebody actually draw out the design for you, I know will help amazing. So our off-air number is
Oh my gosh, yes, that would be wonderful.
Z, hang on to this number, and I'll have Pat George get your number, and then stick around right after the break. 813-377-2775. We'll be back in just a minute.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm one of the hosts, Leo Cannyn from Beryl Engineering, with Adam Talley from Talley Insurance and Katrina Madewell from Keller Williams Realty.
And Tampa Home Talk. And so what I love about this hour and like how Z kicked off the first segment is we always say every show, love where you live or we'll fix it. And we totally mean that. And so it might not, and for Z, it might mean that she doesn't want to sell her home. Perhaps she just needs to open up some walls, make that space look better, different, so that she can really love her home.
I love the open concept. In fact, I've blown out most of the walls on the first floor of my house, so it's just one big, great room with an island for the kitchen that separates it, and then that island's a little further back, so people can actually fully congregate in the kitchen.
And your house is old. That was a project, I'm sure.
That was a project.
So what do you do when it's if you're taking out a load-bearing wall and you have a 2-story house?
They just put a beam in.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's more than 16 feet, you got to maybe use a steel. If it's less than 16 feet, you can use a lamb or a couple of 2x12.
Turn up, Adam.
Yeah, and
yeah.
Ty, which is one of our partners, is really great, and he can help with that as well.
Larry's on the
Leo,
line.
he does a lot of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, Ty Swenson
Yeah.
from Swenson Construction. We've actually designed a lot for them to blow out walls, make kitchens bigger. Kitchen projects are always fun because, like you said, the kitchen and the master bathroom are the two rooms you will use the most. And a kitchen reno goes a lot further than a master bathroom reno, because usually with a master bathroom, you're going to want to add a tub that no one uses. But
Yeah.
with a kitchen, you'll use every square inch of the space you add.
Well, the crazy part is, too, and this is kind of like, it's one of those little things that sort of irritate me a little bit. And it's only because I know if they had done it sooner, they would enjoy the space. But when people go in and they renovate, their kitchen, their master bathroom, right before they get ready to sell, or they finish their renovation, then they have no time to enjoy it, but they've just renovated it for someone else that could possibly want something different. So that's the catch-22 with that. So, well, thank you for your call, Z. We really appreciate it, and I think we're going to roll to Larry now. Welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk.
Great show, Katrina. Just love it. Wanted to ask you 3 related questions. In your work as a premier realtor, have you noticed that a roof color pops or can stand out from other houses or look very nice for a South Tampa home? And a related question on any exterior house principal color, not trim color, that you think buyers like. And finally, did you have any thoughts you could share on the air on local staging companies?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that, and I will answer all of that and above. One of the companies that we use, and we use Kim exclusively for our staging, and if you hear us on the air, we're going to actually pick up that cost and cover it for you if we're selling your home. So you won't even have that expense. But Kim Bridges is
That's
the one.
incredible.
She's the one that we actually use, and she does an amazing job. And you know how we know if we did it right, Larry? When people say, "Oh my gosh, I love my home. I've fallen all in love with my home again. I don't know if I want to sell now." That's how we know we did it right, and it's going to look amazing. And one of the other things we do too, especially for a house in South Tampa, Larry, is we do these little dollhouse views, and they're pretty incredible because you can actually click around within the home, and you feel like you're in the house. And if you know the Google goggles, like the things they have, you can actually put those on with this app and walk through the home. It's pretty, really cool.
It's impressive.
So to answer your question with regards to the roof and the colors and the painting, the best place to start for that kind of stuff is what we call our room-by-room review. And so that's where myself, my listing manager, my home stager, we will come out, we'll do a walkthrough, we'll give you some suggestions on where you're going to get the highest bang for your buck if you're looking to sell, so that you're not spending money that you don't need to, and we want you to get the highest return on that dollar spent. And then to answer your question with regards to the colors, think about it like this. if you've ever walked into a model center, especially like some of these builders that build quick, right? So they have everything kind of nailed down. They will have color schemes already preset, okay, for the roof, the house, and the color of the trim. And they do that for a reason, because those colors accent and play off of each other. So there's a lot of thought that actually goes into that, and most people don't get that. So one of my home sellers a little while back, they were actually on the committee for their HOA, and what they did was they picked out color schemes that actually went together and got those all as approved color scheme packages. So this is something you can Google. This is something we can chat about, but it's an excellent question, because the way you asked the question was, what color should I put on my roof? What color should I paint my house? Well, there's a lot of things that go into that, right? Like, what color are your neighbors' homes? What is the landscape like outside? What's the inside of your home look like? And so it's sort of a loaded question that's a little bit hard to answer on the air, Larry. And that's because I haven't seen your house yet.
Well, I like your approach where you go to a builder and take a look at their color schemes for the outside of homes, because you could have like the red roof, which I like the red color roof with like a darker brown exterior wall. You can also use the green roof color, which looks very nice, and then you want to go with like a yellow or a red on the exterior wall. So it's about putting together the whole package so it looks
yeah,
right.
And you should have 3 colors that complement and accent each other. It should always be 3. So your roof, your house, and your trim, there's going to be 3 different colors. And it makes a huge, huge difference, you know. And I'll be the agent. For example, I had a property that we had listed in South Tampa. I came in after another agent that had it listed couldn't sell it, you know, and I was the agent that had to walk into the house, super contemporary design, you know, and it had like these shutter things kind of over the windows, and it just really dated the home, and it wasn't appealing for that market in South Tampa. So I was the agent that had to come in and say, you're not going to sell your house for 1 point anything with those on your windows and that kitchen, you know. And there's a lot of things we can do to spruce that up so that, you know, and it's not that somebody behind you won't, and I'm not even talking about replacing your whole kitchen, but it's not even that someone behind you won't replace the kitchen as well. But I can show you how to spend a fraction of the cost to make it super appealing to a buyer, so that that buyer that walks into your home can love your home, even if they know they're going to rip out the kitchen and modify it later. You know, what they don't want to walk into is a 1990s Formica gray kitchen with no hardware. Like, that's just, it's not going to sell for the price that seller was looking to get.
And then the other thing too with roof color is there's a color out there called weathered wood. It's basically a brown/gray color, depending on the manufacturer.
Yes.
That is the most common type of shingle out there, and the reason why is it doesn't show dirt like the other colors do.
And it's an excellent color. Like, when you think of the scheme, and over the years it's changed, right? So like, you know, in the 60s and 70s, it was that bright, like avocado, lime, the yellow, the blues, you know, that you've seen in houses built in the 50s and the 60s. And then if you go probably more towards the 90s, we saw a lot of purple and teal. And then as we got to the year, you know, the end of the 90s and 2000, it was stark white. Everything in the house was solid white, no accent color. They just wanted that light, bright, clean
Apartment look.
white look. Yeah, but that's what it was. You went into every builder, it's a color they sold. And then, you know, as we went into the early 2000s, it was the beige. Everybody had the beige walls with the white trim. And then I would say for the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of the gray, and maybe even like a cross between a gray brown,
But
gray
those are on the
blue.
inside.
On the inside,
On the
yeah.
inside. He's
on
talking
the
about
inside.
the outside.
Yeah, but again, it has to complement what's also on the inside. Does that make sense, Larry?
It's very exhaustive. One thing I've noticed, and then I'll let
Welcome
other
to our
callers
job.
jump on, is that the more expensive homes all seem to have darker roofs, like dark, even almost black, which also doesn't show tree sap and things like that, and seems to go well with other exterior colors.
Now, the roof is something that you can't change, right, as frequently as you could paint the outside of your home. So, you know, I would suggest that you settle on what roof color you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the weathered wood, it's going to be the cabin red, and it's going to be the forest green. Those are the three colors out there that most people would recommend.
I'm not a big fan of the red. I'm just saying.
I like the red.
Contradict you a little bit there.
No, I said those are the most popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my roof is green. So.
I like the green, the dark green. I think that goes well. And I'm a big fan of and here's the thing, when you go too dark, and we'll talk about that in a second. I know you know what I'm going to say next, Leo, but I would go somewhere between like a charcoal, gray, black, something like that. Maybe even a little bit lighter on the tan side, but the dark colors are good. They accent a lot of stuff, and you're right, they don't show stuff, and you don't want to ever pressure wash your roof. I've seen people doing that's horrible.
Oh, and one other thing I want to say, if you're looking at a color board, like let's say you go to a roofing, like you go to GAF or you go to Owens Corning, and you look at a color board, when you're looking at the color board, they are purposely showing you the darkest shingles. So because it's only a small square. So whatever you're looking at, just realize that's the darkest it'll be, and that it'll probably end up looking lighter from a distance because there'll be other lighter colors in the granules. That's just the way they build their color boards.
Right. Excellent point. The other thing, too, with the dark roofs, and it's just one thing to think about, the darker your roof, the higher your energy cost because it's going to absorb some of the heat. So depending on if you're putting your roof on for looks, for resale value, for energy efficiency, it's so many loaded questions.
Well, that's why I like the red and the green over the weathered wood because it's a lighter color.
Makes sense. Larry, did we answer your question?
I love the answers, and you ought to have a show on roofing in the Tampa area because people that are conscientious really need an education.
I really appreciate that. We will definitely do that. Any questions you want us to add to our list?
Oh, well, I just would thought the selection of the underlayment, the importance of having a very high quality peel and stick underlayment over the entire roof, and the quality of the nails that are used, the difficulty in finding shingle reviews and what's a good shingle.
I did very similar things on my roof.
All the phony stuff they do with warranties.
Hold on just a minute, Larry. We'll be back right after this break. We'll give out our off-air number in just a moment.
And welcome back to Tampa Home Talk. This is Adam Talley with Talley Insurance, joining Leo Cannyn and Katrina Madewell. And our off-air number for everybody is 813-377-2775. You can call or text, and that's 813-377-2775.
But the focus of today is the on-air number, which is 888-404-1010. That's 888-404-1010. 1010.
Yeah, so if you've got a question or even if you missed our off-air number, that's okay. You can just call the studio call-in line. Pat is back there. It's 888-404-1010. And just an FYI, if we are on the air with somebody, like we were just talking to Larry, thank you very much for the feedback you gave Pat. We appreciate you listening to Tampa Home Talk. We appreciate the value that we're bringing. That's exactly why we do the show. And thank you for that feedback. We really appreciate it. But if we're on the air, because we do a remote broadcast, we are not at the Beasley studio. We're at a remote location here at the Tampa Home Talk studio. And if we are on the air with a caller, Pat cannot answer you or he will disconnect the caller. So a little bit of information for the person listening. And we had a couple calls that were blowing up Pat while we were on the phone with Larry and with Z. But if you got that question, now's a great time to call back because we can answer it. 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010. And we will answer your questions live here on the air.
And I had a question for Leo, kind of pertaining to the roofs and everything, because you talked about, a darker roof's going to be less energy efficient because it's going to absorb more heat. And I asked him about metal roofs and tile roofs. So could you kind of...
Yeah, so with metal and basically a shingle roof is asphalt. So if you ever a hot day and you put your hand on the middle of the pavement and you burn yourself, that's what's happening on your roof too. So asphalt shingles are like the hottest roofing material. The hot flies off the shelf, everyone wants it, but no, hottest is in like temperature as well. What I like about like a Beryl tile roof, not to be confused with Beryl tile.
Just to be clear,
not. But Beryl tile is it's got that like curvy, like half barrel shape profile. Those create natural air pockets underneath the tile, which actually those air pockets work as like an insulation factor, because the heat has to go from the tile
on the phone, Maria,
through the air, then down to the roof. So those are very efficient when it comes to making it seem cooler in your house below. Metal is a lighter material. Metal often comes in lighter colors, so those also reflect a lot of heat. So tile and metal will reflect more heat, will lower your efficiency, will lower your energy costs, and shingles is just going to make it skyrocket.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll to Natalie and take her question. Welcome to Tampa Home Talk. Thanks for joining us.
It's Maria. Hello, Maria.
Oh, Maria. Thank you, Pat.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is simple. I want to know how far towards Orlando do you provide your services, because I live in Plant City and I'm selling my house. So I was interested in seeing if you work this far towards Plant City.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We actually have a new listing coming on Cummings Place. It'll be on the market very soon, live. We're actually in the process of getting that home staged and ready to go. I think it's being photographed actually today, so that one will be live. The magic is in the prep work. That's what I tell all my sellers. Have you listed your home yet, Maria?
No, I haven't. That's why we're working on redoing it, like fixing up some things that we wanted to fix.
Yeah.
But we're getting close. So that's why I was calling.
Let me give you another little tip. And we talked about this last week. If you were listening, we had a listing that went live. We actually got 11 offers on that property. And the follow-up to that conversation is the buyer actually canceled for inspections. I think it's a minor thing. It's a metal roof that's going to be repaired by the people that installed it. But nonetheless, it scared the buyer away. And my point to bringing this up is pre-listing inspection. So we talk about this, especially the longer you've been in your home. Mm-hmm. A pre-listing inspection matters. Like, it's worth every bit of the money you're going to pay Leo and his team to do that pre-listing inspection, because you're going to find anything that would be a safety concern, a major item, or just things that would scare a buyer away. And with the market that we're moving into, it's shifting, and you don't want to miss that potential buyer, because depending on the price of your home, it could take a while before you get the next buyer. So we do serve that area, Maria, and I would be honored to help you. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. And I will also have Pat take down your information, and we'll call you after the show. Our off-air number again is 813-377-2775. You can call or text that number. And the magic in what we do is really the preparation. So sometimes it may take us several weeks, sometimes a month. Every once in a while we have people that have been at home for over 20 years, and it might take them several months before they're ready to get through a lot of the prep work. But what happens is the more we can make your home look like a model when it actually hits the market, the more interest you're going to have, and the more likely you're going to be to get an offer right away. And if you're living in the home, you want that. You don't want weeks and months of foot traffic in your home, vacating day after day and week after week for an hour at a time at dinner time. It's not ideal. So we want to make sure that we get that good buyer right away, and so that we can sell your home within the least amount of time, with the least amount of headaches, and for the most money.
So she did bring up a good question. What's the farthest away from Tampa that you've sold a home?
Far. I actually have a listing coming up in Orlando. It's going to be a little bit over $1 million.
Oh, nice.
So, we serve a pretty big area. We got a call for a listing in Brooksville, because this station has such a big reach. It literally reaches from Brooksville to Sarasota to the other side of the state.
Oh, wow.
So, I can sell properties anywhere in Florida, really. Mm-hmm. And so if there was enough demand, we would hire an agent to partner up with and help us work that area.
Awesome.
But nice. Plant City is a regular area that we serve.
Yeah, we're in Plant City all the time.
That's a normal.
What's your coverage area?
We're all the way up from Brooksville all the way down to Fort Myers to Ocala, Orlando, Melbourne. Our litigation inspections from Hurricane Michael and Irma take us all over the state.
Okay.
So we're actually starting to do work in the Panhandle as well.
Oh,
nice. You'll have a lot of work there soon, won't you?
Yeah.
So, Maria, thank you for listening to Tampa Home Talk. Thank you for your question. It's a great question. We absolutely serve Plant City, and we'll be happy to help you and feature your listing on the air. So, again, our off-air number is 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. One of the questions I got this week I thought is so relevant. We should absolutely answer this one. I've got a customer relocating from North Carolina, and they're buying a home here. They're going to be closing on their home next week. And so, trying to time the buy and the sell and all that stuff, they were like, we want to sign a power of attorney so you can sign our documents. That was a question we got this week. And I was like, thank you. I'm so honored. I could absolutely do it, but I can't do it because your lender, the title company, will not allow me to do it because they consider it a conflict of interest.
Definitely.
Because I am what they call an interested party in the transaction. Mm-hmm. So anybody that has any interest or any financial gain or any type of interest at all cannot be a power of attorney for you. But I will be there to answer all of their questions. We can do mobile notaries. I can go through their whole package and answer pretty much everything that's in there, but they have to be the one to sign. And it's not that we can't do a power of attorney. It's just that I can't be their power of attorney if I'm representing them as their agent.
That makes sense.
I have a question before we go any further. Before we lose the roofing issue that we had, I just noticed.
Welcome, Pat. Welcome to the show. I hear you're a long-time listener, and you have a question for us.
I'm a first-time caller. I'm a little
Long time,
nervous.
first time.
Let me turn my radio down. The roof is an issue where, you can get 20 years out of a roof normally, but now there's a thing that's popping up even on Facebook where there's a company that sprays something on your roof, on your asphalt shingles, and they say it's guaranteed to last another 5 years. Have you guys heard of anything like that?
That does not sound good.
We've heard of it. It's some kind of Duralast, or it's some kind of hot mop application they're putting on.
Well,
the
it's a
shingles.
spray. It's a clear spray. I watched them apply it on Facebook.
Yeah, we have seen that before. Permitting agencies don't like it as far as, they'll allow you to do it because it's a repair, but insurance companies don't like it because they still think the roof is going to be
chime in on that.
older.
Adam.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's...
Can you put some spray stuff on your roof?
Well, really, when it comes to the roof, it's, they're looking at age, right? So if you're spraying it down, if it's 20 years old, it's 20 years old. It's not going to change anything.
Set the tone for you. So I walk in this morning and I hand Adam my renewal binder, right? Because it's coming up in my home. I hand it to him. He doesn't even know what I'm giving him. And he says, thank you. And then so I'm waiting for him to look at it and see what it is. And he's looking at it. And then he realizes that it's my house. And you know what he asked me next? How old's your roof?
Pretty much. So, yeah, when you put that application on, you might get another 5 years, but from visually, it's still going to look deteriorated. You're visually going to fail an inspection when the insurance company comes out. And if you have that home inspector, he's going to do the same thing. So, I mean, does it work? Yeah. Can you get more life out of it? Yeah.
It might work if you're saving up for a new roof.
Yeah, if you were saving up for a new roof.
It's not a good solution if you're trying to sell your home.
No, it's just it's a 5-year Band-Aid.
Yeah. And we can get past that because we have roofers that we work with on a regular basis that will actually, front load the cost to put the roof on for you if they know you're under contract to close, and we can verify that deal's good.
Well, front loading means they're going to ask for all their money up front.
No,
okay,
not front loading.
Backloading.
Yes.
There you go.
I have one more question because you guys have been inspiring me. I think about listing my home. And you scared me in this last caller that you had talking about wall covering. My entire house is wood paneling. I was wondering if I need to replace that wood paneling before I try to put this house up for sale, or is wood paneling coming back in?
It is definitely not back in.
Well, my neighborhood it is.
Seriously?
I'm in Ybor.
Not 70s wood paneling.
I'm in historic Ybor. I've got like the very historic looking cedar wood paneling.
Yeah, it's different than what Pat's talking about, I have a feeling.
Is he talking about like T111?
I don't know, I guess. I just know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So my suggestion would be, no, don't leave that. Can you? Sure, you can do anything you want at your house. But when you hire me to sell your home, you're asking me what's going to bring you the highest return on your dollar. How can you net the most money when you sell your home, even after you pay me and your seller expenses? And so my answers are going to be based on that information. How can we yield you the most money in your pocket?
So you're recommending like a stucco over it? I definitely wouldn't recommend taking a vinyl siding and putting it over the wood siding.
No, you take it off. It would be drywall and then the texture.
Drywall on the exterior?
No, he said inside.
Oh, this is inside? Pat?
Oh, excuse me. I'm talking to somebody on the phone.
Told you. Hold on.
Yeah. So this is wood paneling on the inside or the outside?
He said inside. Well, not be on the outside.
Yeah, no, it's all the rooms. I mean, my living room, my bedrooms.
No,
it's all.
No, not on the inside.
You just said it's coming back. You didn't even listen.
No, I thought it was on the outside. Yeah, no, on the outside.
No,
yes.
this is inside.
No, what are you, a cruise ship?
What are you, a cruise ship? Oh, we got jokes today.
All right. So another question that we got from the same person that asked about the power of attorney is, can they get access to the home early to clean the carpets and clean the inside? Because the seller had cats, buyer's allergic to cats, and they want to know, can they get in early to clean so that, it's ready for them when they move in? And I'm going to give you that answer when we come back right after the break on Tampa Home Talk. Well, not really.
No, it's a very easy question.
Okay, so we'll debate about that when we come back.
We'll have a debate, healthy debate when we come back.
Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text 813-377-2775 if you want to reach us directly. We'll be happy to answer your questions and cover anything real estate, insurance, inspection, structural related. We got your answers. We'll be back right after the break. Join us for our next hour of Tampa Home Talk at 9 o'clock. We are going to connect with our spokesperson from Duke Energy, Miss Pavita Prasad. We're going to talk all about smart meters, what they are, and we're going to answer a lot of the frequently asked questions that people get around smart meters. So tune up for Tampa Home Talk in our next hour coming up here on Money Talk 1010. Tampa Bay's business address, and we're going to continue live to our last segment, and we have room and time for maybe one or two more callers. Our number here at the studio call-in lines are 888-404-1010, 888-404-1010. We'll take your questions live here on the air. If you want to Facebook or tweet them, just find us on Tampa Home Talk. We're streaming live every show, and we'll be happy to answer your questions on the air. 888-404-1010. Remember, if we have a live caller, we will not be able to answer the phone, but if you call back, we'll be able to take your question and your call. Any questions holding pat?
No, it's all up to you for the next 8 minutes.
All right. So, again, we're here at 888-404-1010. We'll be happy to answer your questions. One of the questions we got as well is...
Wait, we have no questions because of the debate we're about to have.
Okay, go. That's
okay.
right. I didn't forget. You make it sure I didn't forget.
Okay, so rephrase the question?
That was so long ago. Let me think. Hold on.
It was related to something that I thought was an easy answer.
Oh.
Yes.
Can we get access to your home early to clean the carpets and clean the home?
It's an easy.
Why do you think it's easy?
It's easy. If the seller gives you permission, you can do the work at risk because if the deal falls through, you don't get any of that money back.
That's right. It is easy. It is easy. But when people are in the middle of moving, right, and relocating, they don't even think about that.
Well, and it's easy for you because you guys are in it every day. You know, if it's a first-time home buyer, they might not know.
What
right?
if the seller's still there, packing their stuff all the way till midnight the day before?
Well, like I said, the seller has to give permission, and you have to realize your money that you put into any repairs and or improvements is at risk. So it's still easy because if the seller doesn't give you permission, it's still an easy answer.
You're not getting it until after your keys.
Yeah.
So the simple answer is I tell people it's a risk. You're making a repair in someone else's home.
On the reverse side of that, do you ever see it where the closing goes through and somebody just couldn't quite get all their stuff out in time?
Yeah, we've had that.
We see that all the time.
What happens in that case?
We've absolutely had that. A lot of times, too, it's with like an older couple. Maybe it's been in their home for a long time. And so there's a couple different ways. One of the stories, I haven't shared it in a long time, but it was actually New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm. Oh, goodness.
My client was buying the home, and most people are trying to bug out of there early. It's nothing's fun on New Year's Day because the banks are closed. There's no wire transfers going through and that sort of stuff. So we went to do the walkthrough, and the seller was still occupying the home. And this particular home had a bunch of stuff outside, inside, in the shed, car in the front. Like we don't even know if it runs. Like all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
And
so we're in Polk County?
No, actually we weren't. We were right in the heart of Tampa.
Okay.
And so the buyer's like, well, what's the harm in just letting them get their stuff out later? So you'll love this from an insurance perspective. I said, well, here's the thing. Like, for one, if they're in your home, right? Because you sign it. Now you have to evict them if they choose not to get out. You have to legally evict them and go through the process. That's one reason. Second thing is you really haven't had a chance to do a walkthrough without the seller and their stuff being in there to make sure it's the same condition you thought it was going to be in. What happens if you negotiate and you have a stainless steel appliances, refrigerator, all this sort of stuff, washer and dryer, and the seller decides when they're moving, they're just going to take that too. Right? That's happened. Fridge is supposed to be included. They take it with them. That's the purpose of doing your walkthrough. So there's so many things that we see like that. And one of the things that I told my client is I said, look, you don't know anything about that car. You don't know if it runs, let alone everything on the inside. You don't know if there's anything hidden behind, a big wall unit that's up against the wall that you can't see behind. You have no idea what's in there until the seller is totally out. Further, the car is right in front. What if it doesn't start? What if there's drugs in it? Now this is your house.
You can't delay the closing, so what do you do?
So here's what we did, because you have to think about like this. You're contractually obligated to sign and close, right?
Yes.
Seller is also contractually obligated to be out of that house by then because the day of closing belongs to the buyer, okay? They have to keep and maintain that property in the same condition it was when you saw it. So what we did was I said, all right, here's the deal. We're going to follow our part. We're going to go to title. We're going to go ahead and get everything signed. And you're not authorized to fund this deal or release any money to the seller until everything is completely out and we've signed our walkthrough. And we hold the title company on the hook for that.
Nice.
So even though the buyer sold everything, I'm like, and we put it in writing, you are not to disperse a dime to anybody until this is done. So you know what happened?
Title company messed up?
No, we went to the title company. We signed all the documents. Heck no, the title company is not going to mess up. They were on the hook for everything. So we come back, and literally, because they were in such a frantic search to get this deal closed and get all their stuff out, they literally, the buyer and I went back afterward to check on it. She was getting locks to change it just to kind of see if they were done and if everything was out. There was all these people coming to grab stuff outside of the shed and all this stuff. We're like, how did you know, to come get this stuff? And they said, well, somebody was at Home Depot and they just said, somebody's moving. You can come take and get anything you want because it's got to be out of the house now. So literally had all these people on the property, had never seen before, don't know where they came from.
Oh, my goodness.
Think about that from an insurance liability. What happens?
Oh, my goodness.
What
Somebody
happens
gets
if
hurt.
one-
A
Yes.
mess is what happens. Well, who owns the house? Because that's really where it comes down
It's
to.
not funded. You rip up all that paperwork at title. Seller stole it.
It'd be on the seller then.
Yes. And so that's the point. That's why, if you change hands, you sign the paperwork, you're giving the money to the seller, and you're being a nice guy allowing that seller to stay, who owns the house?
Exactly.
The buyer owns the house, and now the liability's on you.
Wow.
There's just so many, what if. And the beauty of doing this job for 28 years is I've had the pleasure of just interacting with some amazing real estate attorneys that know a lot of stuff, and they change the way that I would think about things. And, there's times I have knockdown dragouts with the real estate attorneys.
Oh, goodness.
About some things that I feel differently about not being an attorney. And, of course, they're going to give their perspective. But I think there's always a way, right, to word stuff and protect somebody. And then depending on how much that risk is, you might not want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So,
Solid. I love this hour.
do you remember that story? Did I ever share on the air? You remember, Leo?
Yeah, I remember.
You've been around for a while.
We've done several of these episodes in the past where we fielded questions either by ourselves. I like when we pre-record this type of show where we get some questions from other people at the Beasley studio, put them on the air. They ask the question, we answer it. Those are always fun shows when we pre-record those.
A lot of, every single topic almost that we do every week, this is based on questions we see in the field. So something comes up in inspection, something comes up on insurance. We get buyers and sellers that ask different things. This is where we get our topics for Tampa Home Talk, and that's the whole premise of the show.
Yeah, and I loved it when Larry earlier said our answers are exhaustive. That means we're doing our job educating correctly. That was a great word. He's like, that is exhaustive. I'm like, my engineering lights went, yes.
You're like, welcome to our world. It can be very exhausting.
Yes.
So, I have a question for you, Leo. I was thinking about this since you fly in here every week by the seat of your pants. And I know you stay up late and, you're total night owl. So sometimes you roll in here on Friday mornings on a couple hours sleep.
Pretty much.
What happens if Adam and I wasn't here and you had to be the only one here on time?
Oh, I know how to use the machine. It's a machine. I'm an engineer. I know how to use it.
It'd be
my question is, the night before, would you have more oh my gosh, I can't sleep because I can't oversleep?
No, I would just show up and do the show.
He knows Pat would be a true professional, handle the first 10 minutes.
I've been doing radio since the mid-'90s, so I'm pretty well versed at these situations.
It's so funny. Literally, I've done Tampa Home Talk for 5.5 years, and I'll see people in the field, and they'll say, I remember that one time you showed up late. Got stuck in traffic. I'm like, of all the shows, 5.5 years, you remember that one?
Oh, there one time that I did there was an accident on 275 and I had to call in for the first segment.
Yep. All right. Well, love where you live. We're going to fix it. We'll be back for the second hour of Tampa Home Talk here in just a few minutes. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text 813-377-2775. Welcome home, and we're out.